Are we staying there? Is this where you're going to hang out? Do we feel like this is the best use of you right now? Hold on, let me check my audio. Audio seems okay. I think we're all right. I've got cats. Well, just the one, really. I don't need this anymore. Not listening to me. I've got a cat hanging out, threatening to... I don't know, actually, what she's doing here. It's a good time. Hi, guys. Can everybody hear me? Pretty sure you can. Pretty sure the audio's pretty decent because I just heard it for like a second or so. But, you know, maybe not. Hello, peoples. What do I do to make this? No. Unpanel or repanel. Something. Oh, Nicole, your husband is in the ICU? Oh my God. Nicole, all of my happy healing thoughts with your entire family. I don't know what's going on. You don't need to tell us. That sucks. And I'm really sorry. And I hope that you guys, he recovers quickly and you guys are all handling this as best you can, because that's wretched. I'm so sorry. Oh, hello, Chase. Hello, Dana. Hello, Kaylee. Hello, Osiris. Hello, Ange. All the things. Good. I'm glad that you think I sound good. Hi, peoples. I am here under weird circumstances. I kind of realized like 20 minutes ago that I had to do a live, and that live was now. And so I just jumped in the shower real quick and did the things, and now I'm here. So hair's still wet. It's still back there. It's a thing. A lot of fun. But yeah, hello, Sudsers. Thank you so much for being here for a Saturday night hangout. And so for those of us that are already in Mother's Day time zones, happy Mother's Day to all of you. For those of us who are not yet in Mother's Day time zones, happy Eve before Mother's Day. And I hope tomorrow will be, fun and relaxing and, awesome for all the moms out there. And I think I saw my sister-in-law in the chat. I hope that's especially true for you guys. And, we'll see you guys soon. Next week or something. So, for sure. Yeah, we are here for, I don't know, what did I say this was? Day 275? Yeah, so let me do my thing because I don't think I even remembered to do this in the last live. So I'm going to start it right away so I don't mess it up and do my thing. How's it going, Sudsers? Welcome back to the channel. You are at Soap and Clay, where we make all the soapy things. Every time I start talking, I start getting notifications on the Discord. But you are here for day 275, I think, of 365 days of soap. And today we are doing a live Sudser Hangout. We are in subscribers only mode. And we are just going to chit-chat about life and things and what we've all been up to, as well as talk about the perceived palm shortage and what's going on with that. I did in the last week plus, because this last week was actually crazy, reach out to a number of vendors, my vendors, other people's vendors, vendors, as well as just do some general research on what's going on with the palm shortage that the soap forums are going crazy over and have been for the last 10 days or so. And thought we could talk about my findings today, as well as, kind of what to expect with this. So that's what we're doing. Yes. And yeah, so that's kind of what we are looking at today. First up, how's everybody's week been? Mine has been weird. Like really weird. busy, like incredibly busy. I acquired a new space for soap and clay, actually. So that's extra cool and fun. And talked to Mr. Webman about that, as well as my mom, because we were sort of all looking at going into a space kind of together. So we all had like corporate addresses for the different things that we were doing. And ultimately found a space that will work very well for a number of reasons, for soap and clay specifically, but also for them too. So I think we're moving forward with that, which is actually interesting, Mr. Webman. I haven't even sent you the pictures of the space, but ultimately also you don't care. So it works out. But yeah, did get a new space, so that's exciting kind of thing, and probably something that we shouldn't be adding to our plates, given how busy we already are with like existing work, really. But it had to be done because it's the time for us to put the website back online. And when I closed down the shop on 6th Ave, the biggest thing that both Mr. Webman and Mr. Soap and Clay said was you can't do this because legally, and I'm sure you guys are aware, as soap makers, if you want to, continue being in business and doing a thing, there has to, at the very least, be a public record of your business and where your business exists and online, like a searchable record. And so moving back home put me in a different place, really, as far as that. Not because you guys aren't awesome, because of course you are, just because there should always be a level of separation between home and business and home and social media and all the things. And so that was one of the reasons why I was sort of not making it a huge priority for me to bring the website back online, because I'm going to have to like publish my home address. Didn't feel good about that. So ultimately what we decided to do was, get a new space. So we're doing that. And so that's very fun. Actually, I'm very excited. And Mercury goes into retrograde on the 10th. Right. I think we're going to start doing things for like the lease signing and the stuff on the 10th. So maybe that's a terrible idea. I don't know. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't. Hey, Soap Chef, welcome. Soaps on Stones, hello. Karen, hello. All of the peoples, hello. Hello, hello. I'm glad that you've been busy, JN, but good busy, hopefully. This isn't quite the end of the year as far as school is concerned for the kidlets, but it's close enough to the end of the year that lots of things are happening and kind of a lot. So there's been that. Yeah, Kaylee, that's yeah, they are very tough for sure. And that was one of the reasons why like the Soap Guild, I think it was the Soap Guild that ended up doing that, going to essentially, the government and saying, "Hey, but home businesses are a thing, so are we really required to do this?" On all of our labeling. And this is kind of where the gray area came into play with address listings. Like, as long as it's available somewhere, then it's kind of fine. But it's definitely a thing that's, I don't think anybody actually just wants their home address out there just for everything. So for me personally, doing all of this, in addition to, the following and everything that I already had, I don't know. It didn't sit right with really anybody. Not that anybody would do anything, but also you never know. So, whatever. So, yeah, getting a new space was definitely the first step that we needed to do in order to get the website. Well, I mean, ultimately ended up being the last step, but it definitely had to be done before we got the website back up. And Mr. Webman's life has been interesting this week, so I did not task him with any testing or whatever for the website, but the website is ready to be tested and ready to really be rolled out. So I'm excited. I'm very excited. He needs to go through everything and tell me what I've missed and what I still have left to do, but really everything that he's going to task me with will not take very long to do, like a couple hours of my life, and then we can get the website back up. So that's very cool. Kelsey, you're looking to get a space too. Yeah, it's yeah, especially when you're working out of your kitchen, because kitchen becomes a multi-purpose zone at that point, doesn't it? You are dealing with, well, kitchen things and then also soap things, and so it's rough just across the board for sure. Any pup bath bombs again? Yeah, those are on the website, so those will be there. Pup bath bombs and pup shampoo. Hi, Linda. How's it going? You're new to this business and you're learning so much. Hey, thanks for being a part of the Sudzer family. And, good luck and have fun with the business. Because ultimately, I've said it a million times, if you're not having fun with what you're doing, you need to rethink what you're doing. So, as long as you're continuing to have fun, that's good. Friday night, you were invited to have a stall at an event that is expected to have 15,000 people. That'll be fun. Yeah, that's a lot of prep work. It's always a scale thing, right? It's always how many people are showing up. It really does mean how much preparation, how much inventory you have to bring. And so events like that can be very daunting, really. And I have actually found that with the bigger events, I do all this prep work and stuff. And it's a lot. You're exhausted by the end of it, for sure. Wookie Wook says we got a new golden puppy. Unlike our Dane, she is very stinky. Yeah, I Danes are weirdly kind of reasonably clean animals, which is very strange because our bulldog always smells very bad. Like always smells incredibly bad. And that's also a short-haired dog, so I don't and a bully breed, like a member of like the Mastiff clan or whatever. So I don't quite understand why our bulldog smells worse than our Danes, but it's a thing for sure. You've been testing your website, getting your shipping procedures in order, and sending out promo packages. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Yeah, it's a good way to start for sure. Especially if you can have those people. I mean, A, because you're not only like figuring out what shipping is and how to ship things and cost of ship things and ship times, which are all very important things to have on your website, like in your About Us page and your shipping things and all of the pages that none of us ever want to mess with. Although I never really want to mess with any pages on my website. Um, you're also hopefully getting your stuff in front of people who are likely to review your products when the website is online. And that's good. Reviews are very important. That was actually one of our issues with even rebuilding the website. Oh, good. My dryer finally stopped. I was very worried that that was very much in the background. But it's one of the things that we were worrying about when we were rebuilding the website. We obviously didn't want to lose any reviews. And so Mr. Webman had to find a nice workaround for all of that, really, to ensure that the reviews for the products that existed in the new website stayed. So hopefully you're going to be getting some good reviews from all those products too. Happy Brush said they made their first bath bombs last night. Hey, congratulations. How'd it go? How'd it go? What did you wake up to this morning? Did you wake up to perfectly formed, awesome bath bombs? Or did you wake up to like an expanded, warty mess? Because it can go either way with that first batch of bath bombs for sure. It can go either way with like the 1,000th batch of bath bombs to that. So let us know how that worked. No, Soap Chef, I don't think you missed anything important. Nothing that you don't already know. My biggest issue with doing like putting the website back online after I had after I'd closed down the shop on 6th was I still have to have a business address. And if I'm moving the entire process home, what does that look like online? And it looks like my address online. You personally obviously don't have to deal with that because you have your own production space that's not at your house. So nothing different. Nothing has changed with any of that really. The rules still apply. So I was just dealing with not wanting to put my home address on the interwebs, really. L. Carson says, new subscriber, really enjoying your channel. Love that you have no problem being yourself, and I appreciate how much you teach and share for free. Thank you. Hey, thank you. Thank you for the kind words, and also thank you for being here. That's super awesome. Welcome to the Sudzer family. We are damn glad to have you. Speaking of Sudzer family, you guys have been popping off in the Discord, and I actually haven't had an opportunity to look into it much. Oh, you guys are literally doing it right now, too. Okay, cool. So... there were some beautiful like soap pour pics and soap cut pics that I saw. Just barely. Oh no, 3335 as well as a volcano in a mold. Oh shit. What did that cut end up looking like? Let me see, let me see. Did you put that in? We've got Jody. That's a beautiful soap. I love that one. Eucalyptus peppermint soap. That's so pretty. And everybody's talking about best ways to get hanger tools. Yes, that's good. I love that. Need some more soap picks. Karen said the soap accelerated so bad I did not have much time, but that's gorgeous bar of soap. Or batch of soap. That's absolutely beautiful. I love that. So yeah, you guys have been popping off in the Discord, and that's amazing. I'm glad you guys are using that and having lots of fun with it. I haven't had a lot of time to check the Discord, and that's for a lot of reasons. And the biggest reason I haven't had a lot of time is because I've been obsessed with the Johnny Depp trial. Am I the only one? Just me? It's like 15 hours of coverage for me from basically when I wake up to a few hours before I go to bed. Every day. Just obsessed. Osiris, you want to try toilet bombs? So I have another toilet bomb video coming out tomorrow. Yeah, I don't see any reason why I wouldn't actually publish that tomorrow. It was supposed to be yesterday's video, but yesterday was actually a little bit crazy because the kids have all these extra activities and birthday parties and things to be going to. And so I didn't get around to it yesterday, but tomorrow should be a toilet bomb video with a different recipe. So I've been doing the toilet bomb recipe tests. So you could try that for sure. Kaylee is 3335. Okay, good to know. All right, cool. Good. I'm glad that I'm putting names here to names in the Discord because sometimes that can get confusing for sure. Jennifer, where can you find the link for the Discord? That I think I left in the pinned comments for the last live, which was about 10 days ago or so. So you can check that out. But just in case I've already deleted it, I will put it up again in a comment for this one too. And kind of what we've been doing with that is deleting it after 24 hours because we still want to keep it like sort of regular, like OG Sudzers that are awesome and, you know, not mean. Because the last thing that we want our Discord to become is an extension of the soap forums that we can already be on right now that are awful. So, yeah, or can be awful. And it sounds like a lot of people are definitely looking at the Johnny Depp trial. And it is, Dana, it is a shit show. And I cannot stop watching. I have been And Caitlin is saying definitely been following closely following the case. Yeah, it's all been a lot, like a lot. And I don't know. On one hand, it's such a delightful cast of characters that came out in the first couple weeks when, Johnny Depp's team was in control, like his friend Isaac Baruch and even his like accountant. Like they were all just very interesting and engaging people to like listen to. Um and then Amber took the stand, and I genuinely would hate to be on this jury. Just right off the cuff, I would hate this. I would hate to make this decision. Um Amber's case in chief has definitely changed the flow of the trial to this point. Let's say that. Let's let's just say that. But yeah, so it's been very wild, for sure. And again, I would hate to be a juror on this case because there's a lot. But I still can't stop watching. And if you guys are interested, and you don't already know, although I have ran into a number of sudzers on these pages. Emily D. Baker does a great job. Also, Legal Bites does gavel to gavel on the trial, but she actually starts about an hour before the trial and tends to go for 5 or 6 hours afterwards. It's insane, that coverage, and she brings on other attorneys that have wildly different perspectives than she does. And sometimes they all disagree, and they have very respectful and awesome discourse about why they disagree. It's a delight to listen to, for sure. So if you guys are looking for a way to stream the trial and get lawyers' opinions while it's going on in real time, go check out Legal Bites or Emily D. Baker if you're not already aware. So that's been crazy. Excuse me. Madhouse Mama Soaps, what is with this meme I keep seeing saying Amber did a bump of coke in the courtroom? I don't think she did. I think it was probably her wiping snot from her nose, or as other people have posited, maybe using like onion juice to help herself cry, or Vicks Vapor Rub, or whatever, maybe kind of tucked into the the tissue. I don't know. I find it very unlikely that any person would ever bring illegal substances into a courtroom and do that on the stand with several video cameras on them. So probably not that. So yes, Corey, she was very, very hard to watch. It has been very hard to watch. And yeah, I would hate to be the one deciding this case. Corey, yes. Jenny, you love Emily. Yeah, I love Emily. She's awesome. And it's all been a lot, for sure. So that, I don't know. I don't know. I'm actually kind of glad that there's like a full week off for that case, and we can all go back to kind of easier viewing and listening, because I mean, even Mr. Soap and Clay is completely. I watch trials just generally. Like if they're broadcast, I enjoy this. So this is part of what I do anyway. But this one, I've never seen anything quite like this. Just across the board. It's been a lot, for sure. But yeah, so everyone seems to be also obsessed with the with that. Yeah, so JN, I will put a timestamp if someone reminds me. Doing about when we ultimately start talking about this. And so when you do the replay, you can totally just click to there. Because yeah, there's lots of rumors going on with the palm stuff, and we are definitely going to talk about that. But yeah, this is yeah, Soap Chef. I heard that too with the Vicks Vapor Rub. That's a trick. I've heard onion juice or onion oil or onion something is also a trick that they use when they're filming to kind of force tears and do things. Yes, yes, Kaylee, I just got your message on Discord. Put a timestamp for the palm talk. Yes, I will do that. It's a good idea. Most of the I obviously want to cover interesting, like pertinent things for like soap makers and stuff while we're doing this, but also I just enjoy talking to you, like the sudsers and stuff. So yeah, we're bound to get off track. So for those of you who just want the palm, we'll definitely put some timestamps and start doing the things. Hi, Curtis, how are you? Hey, Curtis, I saw you on Emily's, I think it was Emily's, live a few days ago. You did a super chat or something, recognized the name. And I'm like, hello, I know you. How's it going, Lori? 2-year-old's birthday. That's fun. That's fun. I love it. Yep. I Birthday parties are it's just the time of the year. There's a ton of them right now. And it feels like we do more of them during the spring and summertime than we do during the winter months. And I'm sure that there's a reason for that. But, you know, whatever. Also, I think Curtis, you talked to Mr. Webman this week as well, didn't you? I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure he said that. But yes, I actually, real quick, I'm gonna be right back. You guys go grab yourself a snack or go potty or whatever. The Soap and Clay Kidlets have been gone all afternoon at a play date thing, and I think I just heard them. So I want to go greet them real quick and tell them, you know, that I'm live, so they're not screaming, whirling dervishes all around. So I'll be right back. Also get to use my little BRB screen too, so that's fun. So I'll be right back. Okay, coming back. Okay, back. So, Kelsey, palette cleanser. Yes, we all need that. Um, RuPaul's Drag Race All Stars. That sounds like fun. And yes, Curtis, Mr. Webman, very helpful dude, for sure. I love him. Love everything about him. And I'm glad we like the chit chat. That's very good. I love it. And yes, exactly. There's time to decompress and do things and join. So you guys super basically know that this is how I roll. So you don't want or can't join the stream for the first 30 minutes. That's okay too. That's okay too. But now let's look at it and see what we are specifically looking at. 3243. Okay, cool. So I'll put a timestamp for that. Let me make a note. Okay. for palm oil. So, just as a nice, well, recap, in case you were not aware, about 10, 12 days ago, reports started coming out, news articles and whatnot, that Indonesia had banned all exports of palm oil. And the soap forums in those initial posts started freaking out. And as they are wont to do. And started, well, what do I do? Do I reformulate my recipes? And then, of course, there's always these people who come in and be like, well, I mean, yeah, you don't even need palm, which is true. That's totally true. But that's also not taking into account the number of soapers that live not in the United States that have to have all of their recipes tested and approved before they can sell them. So that does actually make it hard. If your recipe already included palm, it's not just as simple as moving over into another oil. And then as the days progressed, we started learning different things about the palm shortage crisis thing. So, Indonesia, and for those of you who may not be aware, I did a deep dive on palm oil and talked all about palm production and palm oil in general, how we use it in soaps, where it comes from, all the jazz. So might be a good time to refresh your recollection of that, because also in that video I do talk about substitutes for palm and all of the jazz. Or if you've never seen it before, might be a good time to go watch it. But Indonesia is our largest palm producer by a lot. And I think behind that is Malaysia. Now, essentially, what I have learned, first up, the first thing that I did was I actually reached out to vendors. My vendors, other people's vendors. And I reached out to my vendor, who is a local company in my area that I get all of my big drums of oils from. So theoretically, it would be basically what all of your other vendors, your Soaper's Choice, your Sierra Candles, your Brambleberries, it would be essentially kind of cutting them out and going to like their suppliers effectively. Not that I did that specifically. What I'm saying is that I have to have such big bulk of oils that's where I've been for a very long time. I just get drums of the oils, and instead of separating that and selling them, I use that to make my soap. And so first off, I went to my vendor, and my vendor has none information. They're like, no, we have not been notified of this, because you would think that the people that are the suppliers have been made aware of something like this, because it's going to disrupt their supply chain. And they said, no, we haven't experienced anything other than what we've already been dealing with all edible oils. And that is, increased prices for a variety of reasons. We will talk about the variety of reasons in a bit. So then I reached out to Sierra Candles, and I talked to Dana at Sierra Candles. And she also had not been made aware of this. She'd heard about it, but her vendors, her suppliers had not, given her any information. So she reached out to her suppliers, and her suppliers told her, yeah, I mean, we bought, I think it was 6 months worth, at some point in the recent past. And so no worries on actually getting this. I also reached out to Soaper's Choice and asked them about that, and they told me that they had been notified from their suppliers and that palm olein was the thing that was actually in question. That's actually the issue. And I didn't know what palm olein really was. Like, just reading that suggested to me a fractionated palm. So essentially you're removing the solid bits of palm, so your palm is being sold in a liquid version, kind of like fractionated coconut oil, except it's palm olein. that was the only thing that they were actually experiencing any problems with, or that's what they had heard about. And so their stock is just fine. And so I'm like, well, then where is all the weirdness coming from? Why are we freaking out? And so, yeah, Kaylee, you don't even need palm, just reformulate kind of avoids the issue. Right. That's what I mean. Like, yes, that's true. But also, to Kelsey, couldn't imagine being in Europe to have to redo all those assessments. That too. Um, so you do have to talk about it and try to figure out what is this? Is this actually a big deal? If our suppliers are saying it's not a big deal, why are the soap forums making it a big deal? First and foremost, the soap forums like to make everything a big deal. Because this is, I don't know, I guess a lot of people's entertainment. So fine. Um, but second, I needed to look deeper into this because this is obviously a thing. Major news articles and news, outlets are posting on this. So what's happening? And so ultimately, so as we all know, and I think I talked about this a couple lives ago, the kind of a revisit to what we were dealing with and looking at, about a year ago when we started noticing prices of all of our oils going up for a lot of reasons. And there are a lot of reasons. The reason why, our olive oils and our coconut oils and, whatnot, our soaping oils have increased in prices over the course of the last 2 years during the pandemic really has a lot to do with, first and foremost, shipping problems, because they've been having tons of shipping problems, even getting boats to the areas that have enough containers to bring things. And then a lot of things are being held up via customs at all of the ports. It's been a thing. But also, compounded with that, we have had droughts and fires in all of these different places that supply our oils that we would use for soap. And then, like most recently, sunflower oil, for example, that has very obvious problems getting it or getting it cheap because Ukraine is in the middle of a war right now, and it's a huge source of sunflower oil. The thing about palm is none of those things are true. I mean, save for the shipping problems, because that's just been an experience literally worldwide for the past 2 years. COVID shut down parts of the world for a period of time and then back up, and then supply and demand is always going to be a thing. But that's really kind of it. The temporary stop on shipping, and then we've essentially been playing catch up this whole time. Palm oil production in and of itself in the last 2 years, in the last 20 years, has not been impacted by frickin' anything. And as I talked about in that palm oil video, I mean, for the yield of a palm crop, a very small amount of land needed for a very high yield. And their production has not been impacted by any of these other things, drought, fires, etc. It kind of looks like, based on my research, and I will put all the links for all the things that I found and listened to or read or people I talked to and stuff throughout all of this in the description box for this video. It kind of looks like Indonesia, the country, the government, was wanting to capitalize on the increase in oil prices that they were seeing for all these other oils. And so they started raising their prices. Well, and that's a very confusing thing because, like, if you look at us in the United States, the government and the corporations are two separate things. Let's roll with that. Fine. In Indonesia, it's very much, well, I mean, kind of like it is in the United States also. The big corporations and the governments tend to work kind of hand in hand for different things. And it's easier to do that and get away with it in Indonesia. Okay, fine. So they raised the prices for their oils, but they kind of raised it across the board for palm. And Indonesia is a huge user of palm oil. domestically. And so, domestically, locally, they were having issues keeping palm at a reasonable price and therefore keeping all of their items in stock, the things that they would use palm for, as well as palm as a cooking oil. And so they went through a number of stopgap measures, kind of like we did with the increase in oil prices and stuff. And we had reserves of oil that gave us a stopgap for. Fine. They went through all of those things for a time until they kind of hit like the nuclear option. And that's what we saw 10, 12 days ago. In order for Indonesia itself to rebuild its supply of palm oil that is used domestically, they made the decision to stop exporting palm for commercial use, which effectively means, from what I can tell, your big companies that are using palm. So Nestle, McDonald's, every fast food place that cooks their French fries in palm, uh, Pantene. I mean, the big companies. For actual like personal use, that's still coming out, and technically speaking, that's what we are, is personal use. But even then, they were expected to only have this complete ban on the exports of palm for 2 to no more than 3 weeks. And that would be enough time to build up their reserves, which sounds cuckoo bananas. But again, going back to the palm oil deep dive that I did, you might be able to sort of understand that. Really high yield product. And so to that, yeah, that's really kind of the only time frame that they really need to essentially fix the mistake that they ultimately created, i.e., trying to capitalize on supply and demand, because they're big mad that everything else, and we saw this, right? We saw this like back in October when our palm oil prices started going up. It's still by far the cheapest oil that you can put into soaps, the cheapest vegetable oil you can put into soaps. But yeah, the prices started going up. So, in essence, should we be worried about it? Well, no. I do not think that this is the time for you to start stockpiling palm because, again, all of the suppliers that I've talked to have said, yeah, no, we've got the supply. We're okay. No worries. Had it before. Um, so no real issue. The increased prices, well, we've been dealing with that with all of our edible oils that you would otherwise use for soap. So, yeah, that is something that you do keep in mind and you do factor into your equations when you are figuring out your cost per bar of soap. And I think I said this a couple lives ago. It's time to start reevaluating your prices and considering raising them because it's been very interesting. Another reason why the palm oil is not impacting soap palm is because almost every supplier out there is offering a sustainable palm from the RSPO. And from what I can tell, the majority of companies that are really committed to the roundtable are actually from Malaysia. So this will be a very interesting thing to see if in this 2-3 weeks time, Malaysia can make a bid for being number one, palm distributor of the world because Indonesia has effectively taken itself out of the game for a little bit. So, yeah, Curtis, that's effectively what that means. Good for us and big companies can go kiss a turd. That's kind of what that means. It doesn't impact our supply for a number of reasons. And even if it impacts the big supply, like the big company's supply, it's just 3 weeks. That said, 3 weeks in a company like Nestle, that's pretty significant. So Hillary, to tag someone in a comment, you do the at symbol and then type their name, but that really only works on a computer. If you are on your phone, I don't think that works in comments, in my experience. Yeah, Soap Chef already did it. Yep, she figured it out. There you go. Awesome. So yeah, that's Osiris. That's the next thing. People who are very, scared, just like with the toilet paper thing at the beginning of the Rona, um, are probably going to stock up. Nobody is saying that you should do that. And in all honesty, I would caution you against that because that's one of the reasons why Indonesia saw an in to effectively increase their price of palm. I think like their first increase was something like 30% over what they were normally selling it for, exporting it for. They saw an in just because we had a hiccup in the supply chain because COVID. They saw an in because all of these other oils were now being sold at, more than what they were normally being sold at for other outlying factors. And they decided to try to take advantage of the supply and demand. And once we saw those prices going up, every big company, every small company probably stocked up at that time and went, oh crap, just kind of like lumber, right? Like last summer, like OSB was something like $80 a sheet or some ridiculous nonsense. And it went down. Now it's back up. But because we're aware that that's also a moving target within the lumber world, we're trying to buy the lumber when it's at its lowest point and stockpile that for when we need it. It's kind of like the same thing with palm. It sounds like Indonesia created this headache for themselves. And this is their way out of it to ensure that their people, because ultimately every country, that's going to be their first and foremost concern, is their citizens. This is how they get out of it. And so I don't think we're going to see a decrease in prices. I also don't think we're going to see an increase in prices. And they should go back to distribution and exportation as usual within the next week. I would be very surprised if we didn't see that, just based on what I've seen. So that's what I have found with and to Dana's point, yep, bingo in Malaysia, except they are dealing with labor shortage. That is also something that we talked about in our email for sure. Thank you. Thank you for that. That is a very, very good point. Yes. And looks like Dana did a big deep dive after I contacted. So there is a labor shortage going on in Malaysia. So well, sounds like the thing that I just said about will Malaysia capitalize on Indonesia essentially taking themselves out of the game? They could potentially, I mean, theoretically, but it looks like because of their labor shortage, they're not going to be able to. Either way, Indonesia will be back in action. Like I said, I would be surprised if they didn't start exporting within the next week or so, business as usual. So there's that. At least lumber doesn't go rancid. Yeah, that's true, Kelsey. It doesn't go rancid. It's just finding a place to store all that lumber, which has been a really hard thing for obviously home use when we're building an addition, of course. Where do you put it so it doesn't get rained on? But also weirdly a problem with like the big box stores because this has not been their actual business model for a very long time. They don't keep a crap ton of backstock, how it used to. I mean, there are memes that have been going around for like the last 15 years or so. Like, do you have this in your back room? And anybody who's worked any form of box store or retail or whatever knows that there kind of is no back room anymore. It's all just shoppable space. And they basically keep this to as minimal amounts as they possibly can, knowing what shipping times and whatnot are. So it's been another issue with the big box stores actually getting any like pallets of wood and anything in. Like they don't have the room to put it anywhere because that's not this current modern business model. It's very wild. Hello, Emerence. It's so nice to see you. And I'm glad. Yeah, Dana, like I said, Dana Sierra Candles, she looked into this a lot when I reached out to her. And she reached out to her suppliers and did the things. Sounds like she did some extra research as well. Nobody I've talked to in the actual supplier world is seeing this as a real issue right now. And I know that it's very scary to start, seeing things and reading about these things in the soap forums, but I think we're probably okay. So, I mean, obviously do your own research and come up with your own opinions or whatever, and never trust anybody, including me. But these are my findings and I'm passing them on to you. So that's it. Yeah, totally, Kaylee. Let me check for you. Yeah, there's no back stock anymore. Like there's not a back room. It's very funny. Yeah, okay. And Emerence is saying for decades there's never been a back room in grocery and retail. That's also good to know. I worked in like my real experience in retail, I worked for Sherwin-Williams through university, the paint store. And I also worked, I was a manager for Abercrombie. And there was a back room. It wasn't particularly big, but it did have a fair amount of product. But that fair amount of product was like literally in case shit. Like in case a blizzard rolls through, it will give us another week of operating business as usual. And hopefully that's enough time for the trucks to catch up with whatever to bring the product in. If we had to survive longer than maybe a week off of the inventory we had in the back, it wasn't going to happen. But that's mine. Bye, Dana. Thank you so much for coming. Happy Mother's Day to you and all of yours as well. And thanks for chiming in. And thank you for all of your help with all of this. It was wildly important and very, very helpful. So thank you. Hello, Daniel. How's it going? And yeah, Curtis also has, stories about the back room and what it was and what it was not. So it's very interesting. And I mean, with grocery stores, I can totally see that too, Emerence. There's not a lot. Like, how long can you actually keep tomatoes? You want it all out there and purchased as quickly as possible because those things start to go bad really quick. Yeah, that was always another thing too, Kaylee. You could never actually tell people that you don't have more stock somewhere. Like, yeah, let me check. So sorry, we don't have this, but how about this very similar item that we really want to get off our shelves because it's been sitting here for too long? And I don't actually know what's been going on with stores since 2020. Like, I don't actually go to the grocery store. I have all of my stuff delivered, like still. So I haven't been to the grocery store with any regularity in the past 2 years. But every time I order something like very, very common, like Tabasco sauce, it says on your website it exists. Like put the order in and then they can't, like they don't have Tabasco. And it's like, well, since when have you not had Tabasco on your shelves? So I don't know. I sort of just assume that grocery stores look like a crazy wasteland at this point because the orders that I get in are always super hit or miss with everything that I actually ordered and or need. Yeah, Dorket, you don't have to use palm oil and there's nothing to say that you ever have to, for sure. And that's what all soap makers like make. Those are choices that we all make based on our own, whatever. But since the subject is palm, and a number of us still do have palm in our recipes, knowing what's actually coming down the pike and whether or not you actually need to start reformulating recipes is important. For me personally, it would be something I don't have time to devote to. While I have a number of recipes that don't have palm in it, everybody's like secondary thing is always like, we'll use like tallow or like some animal byproduct, right? And I don't do that. I have a vegan market, crowd, customer base. Not that I am, vegan or whatever. It's just this is what my customers, this is the base that I cater to. And so this is what I do. So completely changing it from like a palm to an animal product, that's actually a lot of work at that point when you have built a successful business off of this thing and now you're going to start transitioning into that. For the rest of the recipes that I have that don't have palm, as I said in the deep dive, yeah, it's not necessary at all. You can formulate without palm. You can do reasonably easy, but at the same time, I already have all these recipes that have it. So it would be a change for sure. And it would require a not insignificant amount of my time to source the other things that I would use in place of palm at the best possible rate. And so, as someone that's running a business and juggling a lot of things and wearing a lot of hats and all of the other things that you want to throw in about what we do, I prefer to not deal with it right now. So, I really don't think that we need to, is I think the end of that. Um, the Mexican stores in New Mexico almost never emptied out the way the regular stores did. Madhouse Mama, that's interesting. That's, I mean, that's cool because Mexican stores have some amazing, amazing items. I miss that about Colorado because you would have proper Mexican food stores, and that's where you would go get your good spices. That's where you would go get all of your stuff to make tamales and pozole. Like up here, they only sell pozole, the hominy, in like cans of like pre-cooked, and it's in like water, like you would find like your canned peas and corn and shit. And I'm like, this is not how I make pozole. I want the dried hominy to put in the thing because it soaks up the flavor of the meats and the spices and all of the other things that go into making pozole. So it's just, I miss Mexican food stores. So that was actually good that you didn't run out in New Mexico for sure. Speaking of which, I think it's time to get some Hatch green chilies, isn't it? No, it's only May. I guess we've got a few more months before we can get some green chilies. Main things you couldn't get were taco spice and garam masala. Kelsey, I taco spice is something that actually my stores do a decent job of stocking in up here in an area of the store that they still label ethnic food, which is freaking wild. But like garam masalas, like in any of the Indian spices and stuff, oh, forget about it. They have no idea what you're talking about. And you have to go online, which sucks because the pandemic also claimed the only and best Indian store up here, like within a drivable distance for me. And that was heartbreaking when they closed because they had everything cool. And now I have to find it online and order it in. I think I get it from weirdly like Monterey Bay out of California. They have a pretty decent stock of bulk of all of that. So if you want to buy them in big bags, all the different blends that go into your different like curry seasonings and masalas and check them out. Check out Monterey Bay. Oh, yeah, Emirates for sure. All of the mom and pop stores are the best for all of the, well, authentic, cool stuff that you can get for cool food. Corey uses lard. That's awesome. I love that. Hi, Vet. Nice to see you. How have you been? Tell us all about your life. What's been going on? I mean, whatever you want to tell us. Don't feel obligated. Sorry. Not so typical soapy things. Oh shit. Who are you? Normally? Because I think I saw that on Discord and that you were trying to, like you had just changed your channel name. So I know you as something different normally. Don't feel like you have to tell me. I can just go back to the Discord and check it out. But hi, not so typical soapy things. You live a block away from a Mexican bakery. Yeah, it's awesome. Up here is the place that just, we don't get a lot of any of that, and it's very sad. I hope one day it will make its way up here, but for now, not so much. And it looks like Soap Chef said something about palm, and you there's yeah. From what Susie is saying, that's a thing. Like palm's a good oil to use in soaps for a lot of reasons, and so it has a really cool fatty acid profile that makes it very, very good for bar hardening, for the awesome skin loving stuff, for the bubble, for the longevity of the bar, all the things. And so you can replace it, but that also comes with its own, thing. Oh yeah, in Montana you probably don't get a lot of that. But Montana is just it's so like big, but still like such a sparsely populated area. And you're probably also dealing with the issues of people having to get trucks over multiple passes to get there in the first place. And weather, because weather's gonna weather in Montana and it weathers pretty epically there. It makes it hard. I mean, I grew up in a high mountain desert in southern Colorado, and so a valley surrounded by mountains, high elevation for the valley and also the mountains. And everything was more expensive. Like all of the interesting cool stuff that you could get for cooking and whatever. If you could get it in, it was way more expensive to get it over those passes because that was definitely a consideration for the price point. Oh yeah, Aubrey. There it is. Shit. Yep. Hi. I'm glad that you got your channel to work. The not so typical soapy things. I love that. I just saw soapy things and I'm like, hey, that's my line. I remember that. Yeah, there's not a lot here. I mean, but Jayan, I live in a very interesting part of like the Seattle Tacoma area. I live across the water, effectively on an island, and it's a very interesting place here. And so it's not like while I'm just a few minutes away from all of the hubbub of the cities or whatever, it's still very kind of rural in feel with what people want and or stock in grocery stores. It's very interesting. Hispanic stores sell aloe leaves. That's cool. Hey, Kimberly, how's it going? I never thought that actually makes sense that aloe leaves would be sold in the Hispanic stores. That makes a lot of sense for sure. Bye, Soap Chef. Have an excellent night and Mother's Day and all of the things. You guys enjoy tomorrow with all the things. Go have fun adventures. And oh God, Vegas weather. I couldn't imagine. Actually, I've been griping because all of May has been just torrential downpour up here. And I'm really, really irritated. But then Emerance, who's in Vegas, it's like, oh yeah, it's already 80s at night. I'm like, yeah, never mind. I guess I'll deal with the rain for a while because that doesn't sound like fun either, for sure. How's it going? Hello from Quebec. Yes. Yeah, JM, I'm across the Narrows, so I'm in Gig Harbor. And it's a weird place over here. Like, it's a weird place. I think one of the reasons why it's so weird over here is because they only had that one bridge for a very long time. And that bridge, when it was first built, fun fact for those of you who may not be familiar with bridges that can collapse over large bodies of water, that one did. Very shortly after it was built, there's actually a video of it online. It's horrifying. It's horrifying. And I'm already freaked out about bridges as it is because I'm from a landlocked state. I'm from Colorado. And so this like bridges over bodies of water, that's not a thing. Not a thing. And I moved up here and decided to buy a house over a bridge, over a large, like a suspension bridge, over a large body of water that I had to drive every day. And that one, it initially collapsed almost right after it was built, and then they finally built a new one, but it was just the one. And then, like several decades later, they built another one to make it easier for. Anyway, point is, this area here has basically been cut off from the world forever until like the last 15 or 20 years. So they haven't really caught up to, what's cool in other places. So there's that. Yeah, I would sleep in front of the AC too, Emerance. That sounds like a good idea. Laura, isn't that bridge really spenny to cross in tolls? I mean there's a toll on one way. I think it's to leave, and I think it's like $5. I don't know. I have no idea. We have the good to go pass, and so it's like a prepaid whatever. There's just a sticker, but I think it's $5. It might be more. I don't know. But, I mean, to that, doing that every day with multiple vehicles, it's definitely something that people put into their budget as a factor because it's not nothing. Yeah, you should look up the bridge collapse. It's terrifying. And I don't remember if I saw that before or after I decided it would be cool to live here. I want to hope that it was after, but yeah, no. I saw that footage and went, oh God, I'm never crossing a bridge again. Very scary. You know what, Hillary? I don't think you have to pick a lane. Do whatever makes you feel happy. And if your client base doesn't care either way, then like lean into that. Lean into that heavily. If you have a client base that hasn't already kind of dictated where you're going to go as a soap maker, don't try to. You get to continue experimenting with all of the different types of oils and all of the different types of additives and the milks and all the things. And you get to really expand your soapy knowledge base and not be really pigeonholed into just this one thing. So if you have the client base for that, that's cool. Do the thing for sure. Daniel, you have some hyaluronic acid left over from some cream. Could it be used in the soap? Yeah, I mean, you could. I don't know. The thing about hyaluronic acid, when you start talking about that and lactic acids and the things that are really, really best served if you are playing in the um, leave-on product sphere, I'm always hesitant to say, yeah, put it in a soap. That said, for a face soap, like the dual eye soap that I've done on the channel, things like that. Yeah, you totally could. I mean, people, in order for like the actual washing of the face and the stimulation of the, whatevers, we wash our face a whole lot longer than we wash other things because we're doing the stimulation as well. You get it? And so yeah, you could put it in. I would prefer still to put it in maybe a hot process recipe, which is what the dual lye recipe is that I've shown you guys, I think, for my face oils or my face soaps. Um, and yeah, I can see the benefit of the hyaluronic acid actually transferring. Playing with that stuff can get pretty complicated though. Not that you're not allowed to. I have actually specifically looked up hyaluronic acid. I don't know if it was you that asked about it or someone else years ago, just to see, because I too have it in like powder form, that I use personally, for peels and stuff. And we are allowed to play with it. We are allowed to mess with it in the United States. It does make things interesting, especially in the powder version, which is how the only way I've ever seen it is in powder form because it does turn into like a gelatinous type thing when it binds with water. So it might be interesting in soaps. I've never played with it in soaps, but if you do, let me know. I'd like to learn see how it goes. And if you guys are interested in me just dicking around and making a soap out of it, I can do that too. If you guys want to see a video, never know what you guys want to see anymore. So I just kind of do what I want. Yeah, Susie, that's also a good point. If there are a lot of goat's milk soapers or a lot of vegan soapers or a lot of whatever soapers around you, do something other than because it does set you apart and that's cool. We like that. Kaylee's still looking for where to plant their forever roots. Yeah, it's we're here forever because we bought this house at a frickin' steal, and it turned out it came with a beautiful property in a great neighborhood, and it was literally a steal. And we've now put so much work and time and love and sweat and tears into it that once it's actually the way that we want it, we're not leaving. And it's just so we're here forever. Unless Mr. Soap and Clay's job moves us overseas. I told him if I got a castle in Scotland, I would consider leaving. Italy is also an option, but for me personally right now, I'm like, there's no real reason for me to leave. So there's always that. Yeah, Curtis, that's it. I mean, technically speaking, it is an acid. It's just so's vinegar. I mean, this is a different type of conversation. Yes. Glycerin and soap, you can make it or add it. More information would be... Wait. Amaranths. You have a question about soap. Is it glycerin and that's in the soap? You can make it or add it more. Well, glycerin is a natural byproduct of saponification. So it exists within your soap, whether you like it or not. You can also add more to your soap recipes, to your cold process recipes, and at some point, or your hot process recipes, and at some point, if you add enough, that starts becoming a melt and pour soap. I've done a couple videos on the channel about making melt and pour and have only used glycerin. Like I haven't messed around with the alcohols in any of those recipes. Like I've made them, I just don't think unless you guys remember otherwise, I don't think I've ever done one with alcohols in them. So yes, you can add more glycerin to your soap. And there can be benefits to that. Living in an area like Las Vegas, huge benefit for that. So yeah, a castle in Scotland would be amazing, Courtney. I agree. That's my goal. And yeah, biology is complicated, chemistry is complicated, all the things complicated, but also kind of easy. And so it's interesting how people like to kind of overcomplicate things for silly reasons. And I don't know, I guess we see a lot of that in the soap forums, and that's kind of what the point of my channel is really about, like wanting to demystify a lot of the things that people claim are really hard. So, Courtney, will I do a clear melt and pour video, like making it from scratch? Yeah, I have all the ingredients to do that. And like I said, I have no memory of actually doing a clear melt and pour. Like I did that one weird recipe. I tested that crazy recipe that went around on the soap forums a couple years ago. That was a clear cold process, transparent cold process soap. But that's not melt and pour. It's different. But yeah, no, if I haven't done a clear melt and pour, I have all the ingredients to do it. I could do that. I could get that on the list. I have some weird soaps that I'm looking forward to cutting. Hopefully I can get them cut tonight. Weird techniques. So I'm very interested in seeing what they ended up doing. But I think I have a video coming out Monday with weird stuff you can put into a pre-made melt and pour base. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I've never done a recipe, a clear melt and pour. I can do that. Yeah. We can give that recipe up. So yeah, sorry, I'm actually going to need to either do a BRB and go to the restroom really quickly because this Topo Chico is making me need to go to the restroom, or I'm going to need to cut the stream. So let's see what you guys are all feeling with all of this, a BRB or an ending of the stream. You guys have any other questions specifically about the palm oil thing, but also do you have any other questions that you would like answered, / video ideas / things? I've got 90 days left in year 2, and I'm going to get through it because I'm dying to start year 3 content. And this is where all of you guys get to shine. And that's exciting. I think, yeah, propylene glycol, JN for melt and pour. Also, there's a fair amount of alcohol that can be put into their melt and pour. I mean, kind of tomato when you start talking about that. But yes, for sure. All right, cool. Everybody's saying BRB. Okay, thank you. Thank you. I'm gonna go potty. I will be right back. And I get to use my BRB screen again. Back. Tamanu oil. What are we talking about with Tamanu oil? Oh, hey, we've got Mr. Soap and Clay hanging out. Hi. Nothing. You want to come say hi to the peoples? Yeah, I think we can get both of us in the thing.
Just be off camera and weird comment. I've not been in this setup yet.
You haven't been in this setup yet. No.
Exactly. I like that.
Yeah. Look what I did. Look, guys, it's Mr. Soap and Clay.
Mr. Soap and shit. Hello.
Hello. So you went and just barely did Mother's Day stuff with the kiddos, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Fortunately, Mother's Day's on Sunday because Saturday's really the only time me and the kids can go get stuff done.
Yeah, and their day was crazy today too with all of the they just have so many things these days. It's like
they know too many people.
They do know too many people, and they're always doing birthdays and play dates and things, and it's a lot for sure. So yeah, we've got the Mister and we've got a cat. Oh God, we've got 2 cats.
We've got 2 cats.
Oh God.
That one's going to knock the camera off.
Yeah, if the screen...
That one's terrible.
If the camera starts bouncing, it's because one cat, again, is climbing on the monitor. And the other one is way too fat to climb on the monitor. So, oh, yep. Hi,
Get off
baby.
the
We
computer.
don't, we don't like that. Thank you.
Vamos. There you are.
Actually, real quick, since we moved things, I'm going
Oh,
to
you gotta check
annoy
the audio.
people real quick and just check the audio just to see what we sound like. Oh, it's good. It's good, guys. Sorry, you heard a double. Were you guys? Sorry.
It's amazing what difference a good mic makes, huh?
It's so nice.
Yeah.
I love it. Mr. Soap and Clay has been doing very strange things with buying all this different tech and stuff and different mics and things. And I don't hate it. I don't hate it. And I'm very glad that he was the one that had to deal with that and not me, because I'm terrible at it.
I took to buying lots of things on Amazon all at once and tested them all out over the course of a couple of weeks and then sending back what didn't serve its purpose. So, you know, we went through quite a bit of equipment, but everything that you saw strewn about isn't here anymore.
Yeah, you did a lot of that. There you
Will
go.
you lean in?
Yeah.
The chairs are too big, yeah? No,
Well,
do
I
that.
mean,
They're meant for gaming.
right. And I think just the way that we have the actual view set up, so we have the chat on screen,
Right.
it's actually making us be in a smaller area than we normally would be.
I'll just do it like this.
And so we're just going to get close.
Fine with that.
Don't you dare.
What is her problem?
You're not going to do it.
I took her chair. That's why she's...
Oh, she's
skipping
mad?
over.
Is that where she was? She was
Yeah.
on the chair?
Yeah.
That's what it is.
She wanted it back. It's my chair.
Kaylee was like, you're always so surprised when your audio is good. It's always good. There have been times, Kaylee, the last week's worth of videos are like, I'm holding a microphone and that microphone was not turned on for a week's worth of videos. And I just am stupid. And so that was fun. But yeah, there was also one live where I was using Mr. Soap's microphone when I was out in the pontoon, and his gain is turned up a lot higher than mine is because he doesn't talk as loud as I do. And it was just 2 hours of my voice irritating the shit out of me. And I'm like, oh God, I love you guys so much for not saying a word. But
yeah, when the
with
gain
that-
is too high, it gets metallic, no matter what sort of filters you put on it. It's
Yeah.
just really hard to filter that out.
and it was not a lot of fun. A coat ended up left at Dairy Queen.
That's all taken care of.
Oh, you guys went and got it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Did
that's
that message like
cool.
just come in?
I just got it from Summer's mom, yeah, that they left a coat at Dairy Queen and she was apologizing for it. I didn't even know what happened.
Yeah, it's all good.
Taken care of. I
We
love
have
it. Somebody said earlier, have you ever done a video on product lines? Yeah, I have. I couldn't possibly tell you what one it was though. So my thing with product lines is what that I found works for me right now. If you want to make all the soapy things, which is I think what the comments said, do that, but make small runs of all of that. Make them limited edition runs. If you are hell-bent on making and trying and doing all the things, don't make them permanent fixtures in your line. Just do it because you had fun, make it a limited edition. That increases the whole, oh, I have to get it right now, otherwise it's not going to be here later, because it's not going to be here later. And do that. Trying to maintain a product listing of 300, 500, 600 products, it's exhausting. It's a lot. And so I would recommend not making that a permanent part of your life, but having maybe 12 to 16, 20 staples in your line that always stay. Yes. And then everything else, it's just this batch. It's just this run. And, you know, if they liked it enough that it sold out immediately or whatever, make a note of that. And next year at the same time, make it again. But don't try to maintain a huge inventory. It's a terrible idea. So
What inventory are you maintaining now?
We're not having that conversation. I think the website currently has 150 products on it. But
Some of those limited edition, yeah.
but around 40 of them are limited edition products.
Right.
So I have a good inventory of maybe 60 products that are all of the time. But that's because I do beard oils, I do beard washes, I do face oils, I do face washes, I do things outside of soap that
Right.
will always stay. So you're just gonna keep getting out of frame
Well,
though.
look, there's a arm of the chair, isn't
But
there?
you can use my arm, that's fine.
But mine's like popping yours and going to knock you out. These chairs are not conducive to.
No, it slides
sitting.
underneath. You're sitting low. I'm sitting high.
Got my lowrider steez on.
I don't know what you're doing, Kat.
She's threatening to mess up the audio is all she's doing.
She's really
Just right by the
making me
mixer.
super
I'm just
nervous.
going to hang out here right by the mixer and lick my paw until you're done.
Right on the
Until Dad gets out of my
mixer.
chair.
Yeah. Courtney and Daniel. So the website is not up yet, Daniel. It will be ready to shop very soon, Courtney. Mr. Webman has to do some tests on it and really look it over because I actually spend more time looking at the website than he does right now because I've been doing all the product listings and all of that. And so essentially, even though he created the website, he built it, he hasn't really seen it in the past couple months. So it'll be fresh eyes. He'll have fresh eyes on it, looking at my product photography, making sure making sure everything is there where it needs to be and all my hero things and my call to action and all that. I think those are the last things that Mr. Webman and I need to go through. And so I don't see any reason why it couldn't be up in the next week or so. So very excited about that.
Yeah, also, while you're doing all your back end work, getting it all ready, he's working on other people's websites. So when he comes back and looks at your final product, he's very objective.
Right. There's also that. He's definitely working on lots of other projects too. So there is that. You're freaking me out, Kat.
Comment. If the audio just went funny, it's because of a cat.
Did the audio just go funny? Soaps on Stones, did the audio just go funny? Oh, damn.
Need a squirt gun.
Did it? What did you do?
Why don't you get down? Why
Well,
are you
what
terrible?
did you do?
Bad dog.
What did you do?
Mic check, 1, 2. Can you hear it?
No, we're good.
All right.
We're good.
Well, then it's just your speakers that went funny.
I feel like we're good. Yeah.
It still makes me terribly nervous.
Yeah, no, she's freaking me out right now.
She's doing it on purpose.
Good. I'm glad it's fine for everybody, for sure. Kaylee's like, no, it was fine. I know you guys don't trust me. Because you guys are too nice, is the thing. So, yeah, you guys are very, very nice people when it comes to those sorts of things. And I appreciate that, like I said, but sometimes just crazy. But yeah, we actually got a lot of requests following the little mini. We still haven't done a 20K giveaway and celebration stream, by the way.
No, we haven't.
And we're approaching 21. But there were a lot of requests following the little mini viral moment for you to come back on and talk about glass again. And I considered it. But at the same time, I don't know what else we could add to the conversation. I mean, essentially, we made our case, and we made a very good case in chief. It was very good.
Yeah.
We approached it scientifically. We approached it chemically. We approached it professionally. And your anecdotal evidence does not best any of those things. So I then leave it to other people to still ultimately make their own decisions. I'm, of course, not telling anyone that they should do it my way or any way, but this is what we know based on our expertise. The one comment that super did make me mad was when they said, so what your glass expert and actually put it in quotes for a comment. That one pissed me off. But outside of that, whatever. Opinions are opinions. And you know what they say about those. And this is why we tend to approach everything, kind of logic based and evidence based and not do it anecdotally. But maybe you have something else to say to the world that you feel you didn't do in the first run through.
No, we covered everything that's relevant and factual for using glass in this instance, and talked about the uses of glass in other instances and how it's acceptable and not acceptable. There's nothing relevant that was left out other than me, you know, bragging about why I know glass and I'm an expert. If you don't want to believe it, that's fine. I've only, for nice round numbers, been in it for 20 years in some form or another. Glass has been my career and my expertise, but you're welcome to go on my Pyrex blew up in the microwave Google results if you like. I don't care. Doesn't matter.
Right.
It's really easy to use and clean, and I'm a big fan of glass. But if you don't want to use it, don't use it.
Right.
And if you don't like my opinion, that's fine. I got nothing to prove.
Right. And that's ultimately where it kind of all comes down for us. Like, yeah, I mean, we can bring him on again. I just don't know. There's a lot of point to it. So I don't know.
The point is, I'm not going to argue with you.
Yeah.
I said what I said, and it is what it is.
There's not a lot of point in continuing to argue against people who are hell-bent on being right. So our claims and our reasoning is out there, and it hasn't changed in the last year.
This cat has to go.
People are saying put a literal box on the ground. Like, put her in a literal box on the ground and she'll forget about everything else.
I would do that. She'll come right back. If you want to, just be annoyed. Bring her over here.
Oh, you're gonna be you're gonna do who's the Austin Powers bad guy?
Oh, Dr. Evil.
You're gonna do a Dr. Evil.
Yeah, we gotta get her over here. Look at it. This is the first and only time she's ever done this.
Yeah, let her go. She doesn't want to be there.
You're not going on the computer again, though, are you?
Let her go.
That way.
Yeah, Curtis, you right. You right.
Stop it.
I don't know. It's just all of this always comes back to people really. I don't know why people look at soap as being such a mystifying process or whatever.
That's an excellent point. Did you never take a chemistry class?
Right.
Were all your beakers and stir sticks and measuring cups and test tubes, were they not all glass? All of them, all the time. You know what you don't do? Pour it in aluminum.
Right. That's the one that we're not supposed to use in soap making.
Yeah, because
the only one.
Because it's reactive with lye, yeah.
Yeah, so that's true. Miss A, that's not so typical soapy things. You have so many names, doll. It's a lot more resilient than people, whatever. And so
yeah, the sight glasses and gasoline tanks and that sort of thing are glass.
Yeah.
Because it eats plastic.
So yeah, whatever. But he's here for other things. If you want to ask him other things, ask him what he got me for Mother's Day.
You already know?
No. Ask him. I'll cover my ears.
I won't answer that question.
I'm going to cover my ears.
I barely told the children and then had to swear them to secrecy.
I'm very excited. Yeah.
I don't think they'll last 12 hours, so...
Well, I mean, your first mistake was actually telling them.
Yeah, I had to. Bit of conversation in the store that led to me having to tell them.
Oh, okay. So it's something you can buy at a store. It's narrowing it down.
No, I didn't just buy it, but there was another conversation that led to having to talk to them about it. It'll all make sense tomorrow.
Yeah, when I get it. I know. It will make sense tomorrow when I get it.
Tomorrow.
Yeah. Very cool. So yeah, we're going to my mom's house tomorrow for Mother's Day. And the plan was that my dad and Mr. Soap and Clay and Mr. Webman all cook. But then Mr. Webman for reasons. His family's not going to be able to make it tomorrow. And my dad had already actually said, and by all of us cook, I mean Mr. Soap and Clay and Mr. Webman cook. So he had already bowed out, which makes sense because actually every week or every other week we're over there at their house for dinner every Sunday anyway, and they're always cooking. So it's like, well, yeah, I get that.
Yeah, it's basically like, not this time.
You want a break? And so we're going over for a proper brunch tomorrow, and you had to figure out all food.
I cooked. I would have.
I
I
told
would
him
have
to cater.
tried.
I told
I
him to
would have
cater.
tried to cook for that many people.
He
but-
would have. He would have been able to too, but it's like you already have all this other stuff going on because he always has other stuff going on as I hit the mic, but also motion around our house where there's always a project. He doesn't have time for that. It's a lot.
You know what? Brunch is going to be delicious regardless of who cooked it, which isn't me.
And that's the thing that we keep trying to tell my parents when we're doing all this stuff. It's not about the food. Like, we're not showing up for the food. We're showing up for the company. So we don't care if food gets served at all.
Yeah, good with cheese and crackers.
Yeah, Grandpa Soap and Clay's a lot. He's a lot. He's definitely hit that F you, I'm old stage in his life. And he's like, you know what?
It took him longer to get to this point than I expected, actually.
Me too.
It's like,
Look,
no, you young bucks can cook.
everybody wants to know what you got me for Mother's
Yeah,
Day.
but they do. You can let them know sometime after tomorrow.
Tell her. Tell them.
No, we're all good.
I can't hear you.
I will not say it.
I can't hear
You'll
you.
play it back.
I can hear you.
I know how this works.
Totally heard you. But yeah, so that's been your day. Any other fun things to tell the soap peoples? You haven't seen them in a while. Like a long while.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time I was here.
I know.
I don't know. I don't do anything interesting.
I
There's
think
not like
everybody
any
thought
stories
that we
to
were
tell.
getting divorced. Because I
'Cause I
mentioned,
just disappeared.
well, because I mentioned on a video, like in a voiceover, that I've been dealing with some very real, like, shit.
Hmm.
And so, therefore, videos are kind of not what I've been focusing on.
Hmm.
And that I've been dealing with some real shit since like November or whatever.
Oh, they thought I was that real shit.
Yeah,
I am the real shit.
they
Yeah.
thought that we were getting divorced, I think.
Well, I can pop out
Bye,
if you need to.
Aubrey. I'll see you
that
later.
going.
Have a wonderful night. Board games. Yeah, that's fun. We should play a board game tonight. Maybe we should make a puzzle.
Good luck with our children.
Let's do a puzzle.
They were both so excited because they bounced around for a couple of hours and their legs are sore. They could not wait to get home and get on their iPads to FaceTime the friend they'd already been with for half the day.
For all, yeah, all day
That
long.
was their excitement.
All right.
But you should have heard the complaints when we were walking through the store about their legs being sore. So tired. We were there for like 20 minutes or something.
They do that on our morning walks, and I'm like, honey, you've gone a quarter of a mile.
What
What
they're
are you
actually saying is,
talking about?
I don't want to be here. My iPad is calling.
Yeah, was just funny. Like they that's what they are. They just really don't want to be around us sometimes.
Or outdoors, really. Like, look, the sun's out at 70 degrees for the first time in 7 months. Let's go play.
They're like vampires. They hate it. They hate
Get on the bicycle for about 8 minutes. It's, oh, I'm so tired. Can't go inside.
Yeah. Daniel says it was about a month ago that you were here. We were talking about the games that we were
what games
playing.
we were playing.
Mm.
Yeah, we've dropped the ball on that too, actually.
Shit. Yeah, we
There's
have.
been Walker like beat the game and he's all bragging about it.
I know
like
there's
halfway
DLC
through.
out for it. Like it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, we've there's too much other. We've just been working.
There's just
We've
been a lot.
trying to keep up. Really.
It's been a lot of work. Yeah. The mystery solve something board game. Actually, we started the hunt a killer thing. I think we got 1.75 months through a 6-month
We
thing.
did, yeah.
And we have yet to open the rest of the boxes because we're really busy. And so, yeah, it's just been a lot. Curtis says I would have been so on top of helping you whoop some if you were getting divorced. Yeah, it's not a divorce. That's not what I'm going through. It's
It'd be weird if it was. I was still here.
Yeah, like,
Pop into your live stream.
really trying to sell that power
Hello.
couple thing very, very hard. But yeah, they do. People think the worst, and that's the first thing that I think always comes to mind with people. So it's not that. It's not that.
Yeah, it probably is the first thing that comes to mind.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Like when, you know, doesn't make
Totally makes sense, love.
it makes sense for
Absolutely
us.
makes
We
sense.
hate each other a lot. You can see it.
Yeah, I think it totally comes through.
People are already placing bets on how long we last. That
If only they knew how long we've already lasted.
I think I was on the last live actually. Yeah, somebody asked me on the last live how long we've been married.
Mm.
Or how long we've been married, and I told them 11, 11, 11, and then said yeah, I mean we've known each other since high school, and like I was like, really? We were dating in high school. We have known
It's been a while, yeah.
we've known each other longer than we've not. So
When was your last live?
a couple weeks ago, like maybe 10 days ago, not long. I think it was last Monday.
Was I around?
You were in California, I think.
Oh, right. That's why I don't.
I think you were
No, yeah,
traveling
yeah,
home
okay, yeah.
that day.
I do
Yeah,
remember.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah, my weird one-day trip.
yeah, that was a weird trip. And it's just like on a dime on a Sunday. Oh, I have to leave now. Oh, there's no live for me tonight then. I'll do it tomorrow.
Well, I got the call like Friday evening, right? But
I think it was Saturday that you told me that you had to
yeah,
go.
it
Yeah.
was. I got the call Saturday. I had to go Sunday to be there for a meeting Monday.
Yeah, and the traveling again, getting back into the habit of traveling is going to be weird for you.
It is. It's there's more coming up, and I don't want there to be. I've gotten used to the last couple of years of no one travels.
Yeah. And so
That was
now
nice.
he's getting an apartment in Beverly Hills for the next project. He's super fancy.
It's a corporate apartment. I'm not just going to rent a place.
He's living in Beverly Hills now.
That's where the job is.
I'll never see him again.
I go where the work is.
Yeah.
And it's going to be like 3 days a week. I'm down there, so still home more than not.
Oh.
Kinda.
Yeah, no, you will be.
It just sucks that I just extended the lease in this Seattle office for a year.
That does
two
suck.
2 months into that, they're like, "Yeah, you're going to California now."
That does suck.
All
Nobody
right.
will ever be there again.
No, it'll be completely empty.
Yep. Kelsey started dating hubby when they were 16, 51 now. That's shocking. That's so amazing. That's awesome. I love that.
I think we'll get there.
Well,
I mean, while I'm gone, you tell everybody you're getting divorced. I don't know. Maybe
I
we need to have a
didn't know
conversation.
love how you twisted that narrative. That's fun. It's going to come back to bite me in the ass later. Luckily,
You're
I have
adorable.
it on camera. We can go back to
Yeah,
the
it's
tapes.
on camera that you just blushed a little bit. That was funny.
Like Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. Let's go back to the tape, see what happens.
That's not been good for her.
Oh,
Wow.
I don't know why I brought that up. It's on the brain. And Nate the lawyer is about to go live in, 20 minutes or so.
And this information you don't have yet.
No, I have all of that information, but I can't get away from it. I can't stop with that one. You can't either, though.
No, I was absolutely determined to not pay any attention to this trial at all. And then Mrs. Soap and Clay sent me, just a couple of snippets about this is what's happening today. And I watched it that night when I got home and 100% invested. I can't stop. Every evening when I get home, I'm turning it on to catch up with what happened that day. And it's insane.
Yeah,
it's absolutely incredible.
You can't look away.
It's incredibly entertaining as well.
Yep.
Which I know, a couple of actors suing each other, it probably should be entertaining. But the cast of characters, I mean, and the lawyers, it's incredible.
The whole thing is just so crazy.
Elaine's my favorite, just arguing with the judge
I know.
all the time.
Amber's lead counsel is like, she's such a whiny little baby, right? Anytime that someone objects, she's like, oh, Your Honor, it's to lay the foundation.
Objection, speculation. I don't think it is speculation.
I don't think it is speculation. The judge is like, no, sustained.
Yeah, it is. Yep.
Daniel sounds like he came from a place that we came from. Yep. You grow up, you get married early, and you stay there forever. That's where I came from. It's not where he came from, but it's where I came from. Very small town, several generations of people. It's weird when you move away. Even weirder when you go back to visit, because like you're no longer part of the group that
Yeah,
you
for
were a part
sure.
of forever.
Or you get that like invitation for some high school reunion, you're like,
I'm
no,
not doing
I
that.
don't even know. I don't know any of you people.
Yeah.
But for you, you moved away from that place and then your family came with you, so there's no reason to even go back.
I know, that's kind of the cool thing. Like my whole family ended up migrating up here, which was probably a very bad decision on their part. We've always been very nomadic, him especially, but I don't know. You just kind of took a chance on the fact that we're going to stay here forever. The whole family moved up. My brother and his family, my mom and dad. That's it. That's the whole family.
Well, that is the whole family.
And
But that also probably is the reason that we are staying here.
oh, we're still here
Right.
forever because the whole family's here. So what are we going to do? Leave after they left everything behind? No.
Move back to California.
Yeah.
But again, that would be if we followed work, if we like picked up, uprooted, and left the house and all the family and everything, it would be for a few years.
Right.
And then go somewhere else for a few years.
Right.
So instead, we just keep the home base and hop in a few days a week to wherever the work happens to be.
It's true. We're never selling this house for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a really great investment property at this point. I mean, no, it was a really great investment,
Yeah,
not an investment
no,
property.
you would not want to use this as an investment property now.
No, you
But
couldn't afford it.
way overpriced.
Way overpriced.
Yeah, when we bought it, it was a good deal, and what
was a
we've done
killer
has
deal.
made it very valuable,
Yep.
and the market has helped in that. But yeah, there's no reason at all to not stay here.
Right. Yeah. We're we're good here. There's always work on the West Coast, and you know he goes up and down it, so it works out. Corey, have you seen the Umbrella Guy in Amber? I haven't. I've heard a lot of things about the Umbrella Guy. I've honestly just been so you can't. There are only so many hours in the day, and legal bites and her coverage of the trial and Emily, they take up like 72 hours of a 24-hour day. And so you have to kind of juggle that. I've heard things about Umbrella Guy. I actually just watched a quick thing on Popcorn Planet. I don't really like that guy. I don't. I think his titles and the way that he does things are a bit salacious, and so you should take those things with a huge grain of salt. Um, but the other one, the Unpopular Opinion, I think is the name of the YouTube channel. Not a huge following, and also started covering this stuff like several years ago. Has the most damning audio from like the Australia tapes that Amber weirdly mentioned yesterday or the day before, well, Thursday or Wednesday in testimony about this unknown 5 hours of audio footage that Johnny apparently recorded on her phone without her knowing. And then at some point, much later, she found 5 hours worth of a phone, an iPhone recording. So like 12 gigs of data. Just randomly found it a while, whatever. Okay. But it was very eye opening, the other stuff. And I'm interested to see if that comes out in the trial. Interesting thing with all of this is all of the play-by-play and the analysis and everything that we are doing in the real time of this trial, the jurors don't get to do. And so they are absolutely just relying on what they see in a courtroom, and that's it. Theoretically is the hope that they're actually taking this
That's what
seriously.
they're supposed to be doing. Yeah, I don't know how you follow through with that, honestly.
Yeah, I would hate to be a
especially
juror.
now where they're off for a week, so it's 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's 10 days
Yeah,
that they're not going to court
right.
and not allowed to have any exposure to anything about this case outside of what they've heard in the courtroom. For 10 days.
Which would be close to impossible for me to actually achieve. I don't know that I could do it.
Well, that means you're just turning your phone off and not using a computer,
Yeah,
not reading, not going to the grocery store where you'll see some headlines,
right,
not talking to anyone.
right.
You're just completely isolated for 10 days. It's the only way to accomplish
Yeah,
that.
and I don't know that I could do it. I learned so many things throughout the course of this trial. Like, what is MDMA? I'm looking this up because I'm like, seriously, what is
Right?
that?
Yeah, I never knew X was
And
called that,
right,
but
and
that
like
was called X.
I had no idea about so many of these things. I'm learning stuff, but that's because in real time I can just open up a new browser window and type in some things that I've got
Right.
questions about, and they can't do that. And so to that, I don't know what the jury is swinging like right now and what it's going to look like. It's going to be wild. Yeah. Osiris, yeah, the Seattle housing market is brutal. That's why we were saying we will never sell. Like it's all overpriced. Everything about this area is overpriced. There is very much a housing shortage here. And like we just had a house in our neighborhood sell for 1.3.
Mm-hmm.
It was on the market for exactly 6 hours before exactly six offers came in.
It was on the market for less than $1 million, for
And for less than
960
a
or something.
million. And it sold at 1.3. And that's what all of the other houses, I mean, they're going fast. There's no inventory. And that's not even Seattle proper. This is, across the water from Seattle.
Yeah, we're across the
Ferry
sound.
boats. Yeah, ferry boats ride from Seattle. So it's an intense market right now. And yeah, so I guess it would be a good time to sell your house because you make a lot of money, but where the hell are you going to go? You have to go and try to buy in the same market or move to like a pocket of Idaho or Montana or Minnesota that also is not experiencing this housing boom because mostly everywhere is experiencing this
Yeah. But
or
the
this housing
coasts,
crisis rather.
both coasts are incredibly inflated.
Right.
We could sell this place for whatever and buy a very comfortable place in like Tennessee, but there's not this sort of work in Tennessee. So you're still traveling to a coast.
Right. Although we do often kick around the idea of like moving to the middle of nowhere in Minnesota, like just off the Mississippi River,
Yes.
because you can still get massive land there and really nice houses and stuff, literally on the river for less than what we could sell this house for. So it's like, why not?
Yeah, it could be
Why not
lovely.
move to Minnesota?
And we could live on the Mississippi. That'd be great.
Yeah.
And that's, there's a nice hub there with Minneapolis and all that. It's very central and easy to get around
Yeah.
the rest of the country.
Yeah, like Curtis is saying, Montana's experiencing it. Emerald said, Vegas is experiencing it. Karen said it's everywhere. Like this housing crisis is everywhere right now. So you're not going to sell your house and somehow, actually walk away with any money right now. That's just stay put. Unless you're going to like get into your RV and do that for
Yeah.
a year, which is fun too.
All three.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Couple years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of places that are having total problems with actual places available to rent or buy or whatever. And it's cuckoo bananas.
And my corporate safety director just has been trying to swap land in the Black Hills.
South
He-
Dakota
yeah,
or
he-
in Minnesota, Montana,
Wyoming.
Wyoming.
Black Hills is South Dakota and Wyoming. He was in South Dakota, and he sold a spot a couple of years ago there, and then bought something in Wyoming, and then he was trying to buy like another few acres adjacent in Wyoming to what
Yeah.
he'd already bought. It was like identical to what he'd already bought, and it cost twice as much in just a couple of years.
Yeah, it's wild. It's totally
It's
wild.
Wyoming.
Yeah. Canada. It's also crazy in Canada. Yep. Yeah, lumber prices are insane right now, Susie. Holy shit.
Hold off until the end of June if you can for big lumber purchases.
He's been following this because we
Yeah.
have an addition to
I'm
put
watching
on
the
the
whole
house.
thing as well because right
So-
now that lumber package is nearly twice what it was originally bid at, and we've got some like special order, prime grade stuff because of the spans we're doing and whatever, which is even more inflated than just your stock standard like sheet goods. But like a 7/16 OSB is kind of the standard for seeing what the pricing is doing, and it's come down about $8 a sheet in the last couple of weeks. The lumber futures are down, the market is falling, interest rates are up, mortgage rates are up, housing is slowing down, so the demand is cooling off as we expected. but it looks like it's probably going to be into June before things are down to a tolerable level for, like residential sort of purchases.
Yep. Which is definitely something to keep in mind because they have gone up for a little bit. And yep, we will buy when they come back down. Kells M, or K3LZZ, if I misinterpreted the three. I'm pretty sure that's an E. Kells, right? I don't know. Tell me if I'm wrong. Yeah, no, I agree. I walked into this entire thing with an open mind and somebody who has been subjected to all of the literal forms of abuse you could ever imagine. Everything that she's trying to claim she is subjected to uh, throughout my life. And so I'm going to be probably more likely to, side with somebody who's calling themselves a victim. But there are too many holes in this story, too much patterns of sustained and extreme levels of abuse with no proof. There's Instead of taking a picture of your face or your ripped up feet, you took a picture of a broken ping pong table. I don't
Someone who likes to take pictures and likes to have
like
audio
to record
recordings
people and do all the
and
things.
likes to tell everyone everything has no no evidence. There's no photographic evidence, there's no audio evidence, there's no witness evidence to back up anything at all that she's saying. And this is
Right.
supposedly brutal and sustained and regular levels of abuse
Extreme abuse.
for an incredible period of time. And there's nothing.
Yeah. And so like I said, I don't. Hey, Daniel, good night. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you. Thank you for the Happy Mother's Day stuff. Happy Mother's Day to all the peoples. Do
Good
all the
night.
things. But yeah, it's without, I don't know. Like I said, I didn't, I want, I I don't want to be a juror on the case. And, that's it. I, at this point, I am leaning Team Johnny. The evidence that has been presented thus far caused me to do that. And it pains me greatly to say something like that. Because if there is a chance that you are denying, uh, yeah, no, it sucks all around. It sucks. So it's just, it's not registering right from someone who has experienced it, that this is whatever.
Also sucks to start realizing that she's lying
That
and
if you are
taking
lying,
away from.
you are in fact taking away from people that have experienced it, have gone through it.
And what you're doing is making it worse for people who are going through
Yeah.
to get justice.
Yeah. So, all of the things for sure. So anyway, you guys, we are actually going to cut the stream because we've been going for 2 hours. And I am not Legal Bites. That's going to do a 14-hour stream. It's actually time for me to go make dinner. But if you guys, since we are ending this weirdly at a talking about the Johnny Depp thing again, Nate the lawyer is scheduled for literally right now. He is doing a rundown of the last week of the Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial. He is a wonderful attorney, very interesting to listen to. He used to be a cop in New York and now he does criminal law. And it's kind of fascinating. So he is actually about to go live any minute. So,
And you have a whole week to catch up because no court next week.
and yeah, you do have a whole week to catch up on all the things if you're interested, because no court. But you guys, thank you for being here, and I'm glad you
I'm glad I stopped in. Yeah.
glad you got to see Mr. Soap throughout all of this, because it's been a minute since he's been on, and no, we're not getting a divorce. And yes, he's still a glass expert and very, very cute.
Oh God, you've slapped me.
That's not funny. No, we're not making jokes about this.
Didn't hurt. I'm sorry. I'm sorry it was inappropriate.
Dude, it's super.
Um, I'll keep my opinions to myself.
On that note,
I'm glad I've popped in today.
Cassandra, thank you so much. Jan, thank you so much. Corey, you're not wrong. Kaylee, goodbye. Emirates and Kaylee and Kels and Osiris and Karen and all of the peoples. You guys are amazing. Thank you for existing and being a person. And are you glad that the camera can actually show?
I actually keep looking up to see if it's not quite there yet. You're nearly there though. There you are.
I've just been doing.
What is that? What are you holding on to?
I'm stretching.
Oh, your own foot.
It's
That's
my
your own
foot.
leg.
I'm stretching. I can't
Yeah,
see
it was like inching up as you're signing off. I'm like, yeah, it's gonna get a pop a toe into the film in the frame here any minute.
I had to get my stretches in. So yes, thank you guys for joining us. Everybody, have a great Mother's Day. Say hi to your moms and your aunts and your sisters and all the people that, are mother figures in the world all over. At least one of them. Tell them thank you for existing. Thank you for all of you guys for existing. Emerance said that before I even said thank you for existing. You're amazing. Emerance, thank you for existing. Thank you all. And thanks for joining us for the round of 365 Days of Soap. I'm out of here for today, but tomorrow we're doing some toilet bombs.
After brunch.
So we'll see you all then.
Bye. You're the one talking about toilet bombs.
I'm making toilet bombs. I need to read.